Dear listener, this is Soul Whispers Stories, where prayers change lives. Meet Rosina, whose marriage was breaking until a hidden prayer brought her love back. Listen now as Rosina shares her story of heartbreak, faith, and restored love.
A woman's tears may fall to the ground, but her prayers rise to heaven and return with answers. My name is Rosina, and this is my story, the story of how prayer saved my marriage when everything else had failed. There was a time when my home was filled with laughter, warmth, and love. My husband, Paul, was not just my partner but my closest friend. We shared dreams, prayed together, and believed deeply in the future we were building. I never imagined that one day I would lie beside the man I loved and feel completely invisible. I never imagined that love could feel so heavy and absent at the same time. The change in our marriage began quietly, almost imperceptibly, and I did not notice it at first. Paul started coming home late more often, claiming work or obligations. I tried to be patient. I tried to trust him. I told myself, he is just stressed. He will come back to me. But slowly, the laughter in our home faded. The warmth in his eyes disappeared. Conversations became short, dry, and mechanical. When we sat together in the living room, it was as if we were strangers sharing the same space. I tried everything I could think of to fix what was breaking. I cooked his favorite meals, hoping the aroma and taste would remind him of home. I dressed nicely, trying to catch his attention again. I smiled more, laughed more, tried to engage him in conversation. But nothing worked. Every effort seemed to push him further away. My heart ached, and I felt invisible in the very home I had nurtured for years. In my desperation, I turned to friends and family, thinking they could help me navigate the storm. I poured my heart out, explained my fears, begged for advice and support. But instead of comfort, I received whispers. Instead of guidance, I became a topic of gossip. Friends speculated about my marriage, and even some family members murmured behind my back. People whom I had trusted with my vulnerability seemed to enjoy my pain as if it were a story to entertain them. The betrayal cut deeply, leaving me lonelier than ever. I realized that some struggles are so private, so sacred, that they cannot be shared without risk. One afternoon, exhausted and desperate to calm my mind, I sat scrolling aimlessly on the internet. I stumbled across a movie called War Room, a story about a woman who refused to give up on her marriage and fought for it through prayer. I clicked play, not knowing this movie would change the course of my life. As I watched, I could not help but see myself in the main character. Her struggles mirrored my own. Her heartache felt like mine. Yet what captivated me most was the way she chose to fight, not through arguments, not through confrontation, but through prayer. For the first time, I understood something I had never truly grasped. The battle for my marriage was not one I could fight with my voice or gears alone. It was a spiritual battle, and my weapon was prayer. That same afternoon, I found a quiet corner in our home, a space away from prying eyes, a place where I could be fully honest with God. I laid a mat on the floor, placed my Bible beside it, and opened a notebook for my prayers. That small corner became my secret place, my altar. The first time I knelt there, I had no eloquent words to offer. I simply whispered, "God, help me," and let my tears fall freely. The grief, the anger, the betrayal, all poured out in that quiet corner. I cried for my marriage, for my love, for the life I thought I had lost. I cried until my chest felt empty, until my eyes were swollen, and until my soul began to feel the first stirring of hope. From that day on, I committed to returning to my prayer altar daily. Some days, my prayers were bold and full of faith. Other days, I could barely speak through my tears. Some days, I said nothing, just sat in silence, letting my pain speak for me. But I never missed a day. I wrote Paul's name in my notebook over and over, praying for his heart to soften, for every negative influence in his life to be removed, and for our marriage to be restored. I prayed for his thoughts, his actions, and even the woman who had drawn him away, that God would heal their hearts as well. There were days I felt foolish, days I thought nothing was changing. And there were moments when the weight of despair threatened to crush me entirely. Paul became even more distant, and one day, in a voice that broke me, he said he wanted out of our marriage. Those words could have destroyed me completely, yet something inside me refused to give up. I looked at him and said, "I will not fight you, Paul, but I will fight for you." That decision changed the course of my prayers. I began to pray with authority, not from fear, not from desperation, but from faith. I declared restoration for my marriage even when everything around me suggested otherwise. I trusted that God could do what I could not. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to shift. Paul started coming home earlier. His tone softened. He began to reflect on his actions, became more thoughtful. One day, while I was away, he entered my secret prayer corner. He found my notebook and began to read my prayers for him. Page after page, he saw his name surrounded by words of love, forgiveness, and hope. Later, he told me his hands had trembled as he realized that, while he had been drifting away, I had been standing in the gap for him before God. That night, he came to me with a humbled heart. He apologized, admitting he did not fully understand how he had strayed, but that he wanted to come home. In that moment, I understood the power of prayer like never before. What had seemed completely lost was now being restored. Healing did not happen overnight. Trust had to be rebuilt. Wounds had to be soothed. But the foundation of our marriage was restored, and our love began to grow stronger, deeper, and more intentional than ever before. I share this story to tell every woman who feels hopeless, who has cried alone in the darkness, who has turned to friends and family only to find gossip instead of comfort. There is hope. Prayer works. Anyone who says otherwise needs to rethink. Create a secret place where you can speak honestly with God. Let it be your altar, your battlefield, your sanctuary. Pour out your heart. Cry. Beg. Pray with faith. Sometimes husbands lose their way, not because they want to, but because of pressures, temptations, and the challenges of life. But prayer reaches beyond what we can see, touches hearts it cannot reach, and restores what seems impossible. I am living proof that prayers work. I am standing here as evidence that God answers those who refuse to give up, that no marriage is beyond repair when God is involved, and that the power of consistent, heartfelt prayer can bring back what seemed lost. I hope and pray my story inspires someone going through the same. Your altar, your prayers, and your faith are stronger than any obstacle. Stand firm. Fight from your knees. God will answer, and restoration will come.